In-depth coverage of the top stories and breaking news when it happens. News Radio 1080 KRLD.
The start of the pandemic, Gen Z had been the most eager to get the vaccination. An NBC poll has found only 5% plan to skip it. This year, it's up to 26%. Todd Furniss is a healthcare and business expert.
Well, a lot of young people don't think they need the vaccine, in part because a lot of young people still believe that they're immortal. They don't really have a tangible relationship with challenges or problems, health problems particularly. And so the question is, how do they address those issues? And what is their risk profile? Now, the reality is the science backs them up in many of these instances because young people particularly seldom get serious complications arising out of their problems with COVID. So, for example, if you take a look at the hospitalization, intubation, and mortality rates for young people, they tend to be very low. So what you have to think about is, what risk are we managing? We're not going to, it's never going to be perfect, right? We still have flu, we still have emphysema, we still have cancer, we still have heart disease. We've never eradicated those.
He says when you look at the numbers, most of the issues come from specific groups.
So if you take a risk-adjusted view of how to treat disease and how to vaccinate yourself against those diseases and where should those resources be deployed, you start with people who are most acutely affected, and those are actually not just old people, but particularly obese people. 78% of all people hospitalized, intubated, or who've died were obese. The issue is obesity, not necessarily just COVID. So then you say, well, let's take a look at older people who are obese, and then let's solve for that. And that takes out the vast majority of people who have had acute problems arising out of COVID.
He also says some of that hesitancy comes down to all the newness.
We still don't know enough about how the vaccination is going to interact with young women, for example, who are in their childbearing years. They could have children, and what are the implications of that? We don't know yet because the vaccination and the disease itself are both very, very young and new. So we don't know. So I think there's a good rationale for this, both biologically and evolutionarily, if you will, for why young people are not getting the vaccination or may not get the vaccination, and why that may be okay.
Should young people get it?
I think it's always going to be a moral decision that's left up to the individual. I don't think we can legislate morality. I don't think we can culture shame people in a morality. So I think we've got to leave that to the individuals. And hopefully, as a society, we'll make good decisions.
Healthcare and business expert Todd Furniss. He's also the author of the new book, The 60% Solution, Rethinking Healthcare.